The purpose of the in-service today is to explain crisis management and what that encompasses. So I've attached our plan for your review. Please note that Appendix 11 will be updated once I have everyone's skills survey. So we're going to look at what constitutes a crisis situation, what is my role in responding to this situation, and what does our school's crisis management plan look like? Teachers and staff must know how to help their students through a crisis and return them home safely. Knowing what to do when faced with a crisis can be the difference between calm and chaos and between life and death. There are thousands of fires in schools every year, yet there is minimal damage to life and property because staff and students are prepared. And this preparation needs to extend to all risks that schools face. So, what is a school crisis situation? Well, it can range from a single student to the entire community, and it can happen before, during, or after school and on or off school campus. So with this definition, we will discuss what these crises might look like, what your role as educators is in response, and how our plan can be implemented to help minimize the devastation of the aftermath. A needs assessment shows that we are most vulnerable to natural disasters, severe weather, fires, and hazardous materials spills. However, after what happened at Pratt, I think we all know that a school shooting really could happen anywhere. In a history of school crises, during the past 7 years, 116 students were killed in 109 school-associated homicides. Bomb threats. While I don't really see us getting a bomb threat, ATF did record 1,055 in a 12-year period. And natural disasters, in the weeks following Hurricane Katrina, 372,000 students were displaced by the storm. So what is your role in crisis management? Well, first, you need to be proactive. So please be sure you know what additional role you may have. For example, Mary's in charge if I am not here. And Michael, Karen, and Barb are the ones that will be our public information officers, which means basically they talk to the press. Anne, Lindsay, and Jen will be in charge of keeping the kids safe and helping out with our reunification program, which is reuniting the kids with their parents. The liaison officers, Sheridan, Bridget, and Desiree, and they're really the point of contact between the police and the fire department and the school. Our operations officers are Mary, Marianne, and Jody, and they're really going to take care of any emergency requests that come from the police department or the fire department. The planning officers are Mary Kay, Jennifer, and Becky, and they're really the ones who will be tracking what's going on during the emergency. And our logistics officers are Steve, Deb, and Ann, and they're really making sure that everyone has whatever it is that they need during the emergency. And then, of course, finance and administration, which is basically spending money and keeping track of it, is Kelly, Mary, and Tammy. So there really are 4 phases of the crisis management plan. There's mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. So under mitigation, what schools can do to reduce threats. I've already done this in the plan, but it's important to be proactive when it comes to observing your students, because research has shown that early interventions reduce the risk of future delinquent and violent antisocial behavior, improving overall school climate. And also, any safety concerns about the building, those need to be given to Steve so that he can follow up. And really, Mary and I are the ones most responsible for overseeing violence prevention in the school. So preparedness, this is all about good planning. So You need to develop procedures for communicating, and we have basically 3 ways. You can use the PA, and on the PA we'll just be using common language. We also have the GroupMe app where we can send something out to everybody, and then we also have the Echo Dots where you would be able to give information that would go out to all the classrooms. So developing procedures to account, you will find all of the procedures in the plan, and it is near the end of the plan. And then gathering information about the school facility. The map's included in the plan. My questions to you are do you know where your primary and secondary exits are? Do you know where the nearest fire extinguisher is to your room? How about the nearest pull station? The nearest AED? Also, please be sure to fill out that staff skills survey. Looking at your responsibilities in the incident command hierarchy. If you do not have a map showing you your primary or secondary exits, please let me know. In response, this is taking a look at what kind of crisis could be happening to us in our school. So basically, in a fire, you're going to evacuate the building. Take your class roster and the red and green signs with you. Count your students. A red sign would mean that you're missing someone or you have an extra person. And a green sign means that you have everybody that you need. They're all accounted for in your classroom. Severe weather. Move to the nearest shelter area on the lowest levels of the building. Have students kneel and cover their heads. Please stay away from the windows. And then does everyone know where they are to shelter? As far as an active shooter, we are going to follow the ALICE protocols. You have recertification training that you can do. The goal for ALICE really is if you can get out of the building, do so. Our rally points are Connor Hall and Fire Station 7. If you can't get out of the building, please lock down. Barricade the door, be prepared to counter. For the drills, please place the red and green signs on the door, shut off the lights, close the blinds. You no longer have to worry about the plus or the minus signs. If it's a real event and you forget any of that, it's okay. Remember, we also have the Echo Dots if you need to alert your coworkers, and we also have the GroupMe app. Recovery, which is restoring teaching and learning environment. I think we know from the Pratt incident this is really important because remember how we brought in the dogs and how calming that was for everybody. So please just be aware that poor academic performance following a situation of crisis may not necessarily be the result of insufficient effort or low intelligence. And finally, after you've read through the plan, if there are some ideas or suggestions you'd like to see implemented, please feel free to email me with your suggestions. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.